as I do this, I want you to know how blessed you are to be in this office with the leadership that you have. You know, as Reggie said, I go to office about every day, and some offices are ran really well, some are not ran as well. Some are operated by senior associates, some are not MDs, some are run by the CEO. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that for granted. You got a guy here that's been to the mountaintop and back down and been up there again. So if I had to look for a mentor, I'd look for a couple of things. One, someone with a big heart that cares, wants the best for me. Someone that's working hard, that's already in the game currently. And someone that's been in the business that I'm in. That guy checks off all 3 boxes. So if you're not listening to him and getting directions from him in terms of what you should be doing every step of the way, I don't know what you're doing, waste your time here, because there's other offices. Go if you don't want to listen. But there's a guy that's been in it, and you can see the leaders that he's creating. See all the SMDs that come out of this office, this hierarchy. So don't ever take that for granted, right, guys? So appreciate where you are, because not all offices are created equal. I don't always say that. I only say the office I can say that in, guys. So. There's some offices that can hold my tongue. My mom said, "If you got nothing nice to say, don't say it." Yeah. Okay, so let me get this out here real quick. Is the TV on, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, I was waiting for me. Okay. Let me set this up real quick. Here's my land cash. Let me just switch this up over here. Where's my cursor? All right, so today we'll do things a little bit differently because there's actually a good group of people here that know my product pretty well. I know Eddie know pretty well, Nick, Matt, I know some of you guys know Ant, I know you know pretty well. So we'll go over the basics very quickly, but I also want to spend a little bit more time about resources in terms of what's available to you from Everest. And maybe just as important, let's dig a little deep into how to sell Everest. You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Let's talk about best practices. Let's spend a little time talking about how to approach businesses. Let's talk a little about how to present it even at the KTP, right? Because I think Everest, well, I know Everest is a very versatile product because it works so well with so many other products, right? It's very versatile. So as we go through this training, I'd like for you guys to keep 2 things in mind. 2 things in mind. This is very, very important, and I'll keep repeating this every training I go to. Number 1, Everest is not insurance. It's a final expense program. It's a program, it's a package. In fact, if I had to liken to any business model, I would liken it closer to Airbnb, Uber, car and homeowners insurance, if I really had to pick a business model. It's not like what you think. We'll go over what this business model is, and I think all those examples I gave you will become clear as we go through it, okay? Secondly, the second thing I'd like for you to keep you guys in mind, and this is maybe the more important of the 2, how do I interject Everest into my business today? And the common theory is, if I got a client that I can't position, I can't find a product for, with the traditional providers I normally work with, whether it's Trans or Prudential nationwide, I got Gerber and I got Everest. I got those guys in my back pocket. If I can't find it anywhere else, I know I got those 2 guys. Listen, I want that business, don't get me wrong. Continue to send me that business. But as Matt and I were talking about, and I think Reggie, we were talking about during Wealth Bowl, where the agents and office are winning today is not selling as a one-off, but coupling it with other products, as we talked about in the past, right? So let's talk a little about how other offices are doing that. We'll be very, very specific in how they put that package together. Not that I want you to follow what they're doing exactly, but I want to inspire you to think in those terms. So next time you've got an opportunity to work with a client, instead of looking for an IUL potential client, I'm looking for anyone. Because you know why? My platform is so powerful, no matter who I run into, I know I can help them out. Does that make sense, guys? You've got 260 product providers. To simply say, I want to sell an IUL, look for a person I can sell an IUL to, is not only doing your business injustice, but all those people that you walk by, they could use your help. Does that make sense, you guys? So hopefully by learning about Everest, it'll open the, the demographics or the pool that you do business with, and maybe show you how versatile this can be, not only in terms of, hey, I want to sell you a final expense, maybe because that's what you want or because you can't qualify for anything else. But hey, here's Everest as part of the total care package. It's going to add a lot of value to what we're doing. Does that make sense, you guys? Yes. Those are 2 areas we'll talk about as well. Very good. So what is the Everest package? The Everest package currently is 30 million strong, as you guys know, unless you work for Apple, Google, or Facebook, where we are provided as an employee benefits package. The only broker-dealer we work with in the U.S. is WFG. WFG. We ain't mess with them P companies, y'all. We ain't mess with them P companies, right? In fact, here in the U.S., we work exclusively through WFG. We've been that way for about 5 years, and we have been growing exponentially every year. I can tell you right now, Southern California is growing over 40%, Ms. Lancaster, year over year, in a large part thanks to Team Confidence. Thank you very much, right? Because Team Concord grew about 200-300%.
Wow.
But it's such a large hierarchy. When you go 200-300%, the entire Southern California goes up. Does that make sense, you guys? We appreciate that. Now, like I said, it's very important positioning us as an exclusive product provider for WFG because it adds a lot of value to what you do. Everything else you're selling, whether it's Trans-American, Nationwide, Prudential, guess what? Everyone else has that. Not only do everyone else have that, they also have their own in-house sales team. We don't. We sell exclusive to you, and that's why, you know, when people say Everest is sold WFG, we kind of have to be, y'all. You're our exclusive sales team. Without you, we have no bloodline, right? So it's important that we know your culture. It's important that we provide you the kind of support. They don't maybe necessarily have to. Does that make sense, you guys? So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I love doing what I'm doing, but it makes business sense to do what I do as well, okay? Very good. So let's talk about the Everest package. It's $5,000 to now $50,000. You raise up the dollar amount, you know, $5,000 to $50,000 in whole life insurance where the premium never goes up. The payout is guaranteed, no blood work, no doctor visit, and again, we pay out in 48 hours. So how does that happen? Unlike every other provider you're working with, every other product you're selling your clients today, which all requires a death certificate, which can take 30 to 45 days, we bypass the entire process because our funeral directors, the same one that's going to arrange your funeral, the same one that's going to negotiate your funeral, will do their due diligence. If you say, hey, my grandfather passed away at UCLA Medical, my grandmother passed away at this convalescent hospital, that person will call the facility, do their due diligence, and the money's on its way. Does that make sense, guys? We don't have to wait for all that time. Why is that important? Because everything else you're selling your clients can take 30 to 45 days. If your clients truly love their family, want to make sure they're fine, trust me, simply introducing the fact that we can make money available that quickly, they may bring it on as well. Does that make sense, you guys? In fact, one of the ways I've seen an agent sell Everest, we talked about this during dinner, is this. Eddie, thank you so much for your business. $500,000 in IUL will put your family in a much better position. So I appreciate what you do, and I see why. But let me quickly remind you, it's going to take about 30 to 45 days for that to pay out because it's going to require a death certificate. Would it interest your family? Would it be advantageous to them if 10% of that was available to them in 2 days?
Yeah.
Why are you smiling?
Yeah,
You know exactly what I'm doing. You know exactly what I'm doing. I just sold the Everest package without saying, do you want final expense? I simply asked them, with 10% of that money being available to the family, right, would that interest them? Oh, yeah. About the same premium, same dollar amount, but now I'm going to give them all these services, which can add a lot of value to what we do. Does that make sense, you guys? So if you don't want to set up this whole pitch and dog and pony show to present them at the end, simply have the trifold with you and just present it at the end and say, hey, listen, I have a way to kind of hack this and make sure we can put a little steroid into your IUL and get about 10% out to you right away. Does that make sense, you guys? It works. It works, okay? So now, along with this person that's going to arrange, negotiate, and make sure there's money in 2 days, we want to make sure your family's not part of the 70-80% doesn't have a basic will. It's my privilege walking from WFG office to WFG offices. It's my privilege because I get to work with brokers and business owners that are not part of the everyday Americans. You're not the YOLO crowd. You're not worried about just this weekend. You're not just worried about getting drunk and partying. You're worried about your future. You want to make sure families are better. You want to make sure your legacy is protected. The reason why I bring this up is, even in an environment like that, when I simply ask who's got a will, raise your hand. About 20-30% goes up. See that? So that when my father passed away in 2014, all the products, the bank account, the checking account, the annuity that was under both my mom and dad's name was released to my mom right away. All the products were only under his name, went to probate, was stuck there for 90 days. 90 days. It took me 30 minutes to put together a will, estate planning, and a power of attorney, and as a man, as a father, that 30 minutes, I know I'm going to save my family a lifetime worth of misery. So simple. And I also know this. As my life continues, I'm not a young guy. My life's going to keep changing. My daughters will get older. I may have grandkids in the future. It's important that my will, my estate planning reflects my life as it moves on. This will allow me to do that because I can go back and make any changes I want. It beats going to a lawyer's office paying $2,000 each and every time. Does that make sense, you guys? But now that we got someone that's going to handhold our family when we pass away, make sure things go well. They're going to negotiate everything for us so retail prices become wholesale prices. And they're going to make sure our family has money in 2 days. They're going to make sure all that happens. But along with that, we got will prep to make sure the legacy is protected and that decisions that our family shouldn't have to make when I can't make it is already made for them. Along with that, we're going to give them 10 Zing. Unlimited cloud memory. My life is in you guys. My insurance paperwork, my driver's license, my mortgage statement, my kids' passport, my kids' birth certificates, my short story that I'm writing, all my pictures from my good side, Reggie, all my movies. Everything in my life that's important is in my 10 Zing because when I die, my family does two things. They call Everest and say, the bird left the nest. I'm being the bird. Or Ness being the world. I'm dead now, that's what it is. And, that's how it is. And of course, they open up Tenzing, and my life is there. They're done. They're done. They don't walk around looking for prices. They don't call florists. They're not going from home to home. I'm sorry, you do Korean funerals? No, I'm sorry. Ridiculous, right? Have some dignity, right? We're going to make sure they can do that. And of course, we give them Price Finder, which is the only place you can find real-time prices for anything a funeral home does. There's over 25,000 funeral homes in the U.S. and Canada, you guys. Let me say that again. There are over 25,000 funeral homes, which means there's more funeral homes than car dealerships in the U.S. And none of them advertise their prices, because if they had it their way, you won't think about them ever. Hey, YOLO, YOLO. And if someone dies, look, okay, let's go to a funeral home, you sign whatever they tell you to sign, pay whatever they tell you to pay, and you walk out. That's how it's set up right now. In fact, when you arrange a funeral before, you will know when you walk in, they give you a package menu, and they give you an application for life insurance. That's what they do. WFG agent, don't deal with the humility of someone else selling you life insurance now. Don't go to those places. And besides, when you buy those things from them, when you buy a package from them, we'll talk a little more about it later, but when you buy a package from a funeral home, you have to do the service there. And when you die, they're not going to come looking for you with the money. Does that make sense? So if I buy one out here in, let's say in Southern California, and I die in New York, and die in Mississippi, they're not bringing the money to me, they keep it. I got to figure out a way to bring my body back to them so they can have my funeral there. Does that make sense, you guys? Not with Everest. We can go anywhere. We speak 107 languages. Go to any country we got to do a relationship in, negotiate along the way. We will do exactly what you want us to do. Okay? Very, very good. So along with that, Price Finder, very good. So graphically, we got 24/7 concierge. They're going to negotiate, arrange, sign off on the certificate, and money in 2 days. Everest Price Finder, to have all the prices in front of me. Will prep to make sure all my basic legacy is protected, and all of that is uploaded in Tenzing, because it's a system. It's a program. I pay that every month. I make sure I've got all these services, make sure it's always there, make sure I've got that peace of mind. That's what this is. Very good. I'm going to skip over the little bit of today. Yeah. Let's talk about what we're up against. Let's talk about the industry. You're familiar with Airbnb?
Yes.
You're familiar with a little company called Uber?
Yeah.
What are they known for? They're known for disrupting the industries that they're part of. Does that make sense, you guys? So Airbnb and Uber absolutely demolished the industry in terms of hospitality and transportation, yet they own nothing. Just like WFG. They're about to destroy, upheaval the whole entire financial service industry, yet they don't own nothing, right? Because you guys are partnered with guys like us. So why is that very, very important? Let's think about this for a minute. For us to disrupt an industry and become an advocate for an industry, it's impossible for us to be part of that. That's why they don't own anything. Does that make sense, guys? If it's part of it, then I have a bias in terms of who wins and who doesn't. But because we're objective, we work solely for the clients, we're not part of this industry. You guys know what a taxi medallion is? Taxi medallion. In New York City, if you want to drive a cab in Manhattan, you have to buy what they call a taxi medallion. 10 years ago, those things were worth $1.5 million. So if I just immigrated from Bangladesh or Pakistan, I would go into Manhattan, I would finance a $1.5 million taxi medallion, pay on that each month as I drove my cab, and that was my business license. Does that make sense? But who came in the scene in the meantime? Uber came in the scene. Guess how much that medallion is worth today? $150,000. Think about that for once. Can you imagine a house being 1.5 million and 5 years later being worth 150,000? That's what they're dealing with. The business can't support the payment they're paying into it. The industry has been absolutely disrupted. Absolutely disrupted. We want to do the same to this industry, right? $20 billion industry, 2.6 million deaths per year. Yet only about a quarter of us do anything about that. So if you know anyone that's got a plot or made some pre-arrangements, that's still part of this group, a very small group. 25,000 funeral homes plus in basically North America, meaning Canada and US. Look at this. They do 100 services a year. Every funeral home you guys drive by tonight are multi-million-dollar businesses. Every one of them, okay? They work 100 times a year. How margin rich is each and everything they do if they can work 100 times a year and become multi-millionaires? What do they do that? EBC? No national brands for funeral homes? They did it on purpose? How much is a burger? How much is it? Yeah, perfect. $5-6. In fact, I can ask anyone in this country, New York, Chicago, LA, how much is a burger? They'll all tell me $5-6 because we have national chains. McDonald's, Carl's Jr., Hardee's, right? We all kind of know. They don't have that by design. Think about this for a second. This is one of the oldest industries in the world. We've been dying as long as we've been around. And no one's ever consolidated. There's no Walmart of the funeral industry. That's by design, you guys, because if we had the same point of reference, we can walk in expecting the same type of pricing. They don't want that. Oh, by the way, if you speak a certain language, Like for example, when we went to a funeral home, I looked for a funeral home that looked like me, that sound like me, that smelled like me. Is that kimchi in there, right? Smell like me? We pay 20, 30% more, 20, 30% more because they speak my language. Because they know you ain't going nowhere. If there's one Armenian funeral home, that's where all the Armenians are going. If there's one Spanish Catholic funeral home, that's where all the Spanish-speaking Catholics go. That's the way it's designed. With Everest, you don't got to do that. We'll negotiate with anyone, make sure the funeral is exactly what you want. We can go to a Chinese funeral home, and when you walk in, it's going to say bienvenidos. We can do that, by the way. Yeah? Pre-need funeral count, right? You walk in, any chinos? No chinos. I don't know. So pre-need funeral count. When you walk into a funeral home, that's what they're going to sell you because they don't own anything. They don't own the land. Cemeteries own the land, right? Forest Lawn, Rosedale, they own the land. These guys don't. They don't own the flowers. They don't own the casket. They are basically glorified party planners. Right? You come in, you tell them what they want. They get the Rolodex out. Hey, let's put this together for you. Yeah, that's what they'll do. This is a life insurance policy. If you buy that from them, you can't take it anywhere. If you die, they can look for you. You're done. And if you do get your funeral done there, let's say for example, let's say Tony bought a $15,000 policy and he got his funeral done there. If the funeral's $10,000, the $5,000 does not go back to his family. It stays with them. But we talked about this last time. They're smarter than that, Tony, because they create the invoices. So if you had a $12,000 or $15,000 policy, invoice will say $12,000 or $15,000 as well. You're gonna think you're not even, you're gonna be dead, actually. Your family's gonna think they got a great deal because of that. Right? That's the games they play. If you don't want you dealing with that, come to Everest. Much better option. Look at all the things that you got to deal with. My father had a grave space when he passed away in 2014. That was about 1/3 of the total cost. Look at all the different things you got to do. I can tell you right now, for me, the hardest part about arranging my father's funeral wasn't the funeral, wasn't the casket, it was the dinner. Reggie, it sucked. So here I am, not hungry. I see my mom in the corner of the restaurant crying, my sister's crying. And when I really loved my dad, wasn't eating. There's 300 people here laughing and giggling, having a good time at my dad's funeral. I'm looking over here going, I've never seen you before. I'm looking, my dad even like you. Does that make sense, you guys? Yeah, I sit and host this dinner, thank everyone for coming in, thank everyone for leaving, and now we can start to mourn. It sucked. It sucked. And expensive, right? Here's the good news. When you have Everest, we help you, assist you with taking care of all this. If you say, I want to be at a sushi restaurant that can serve 500 people, we'll find a sushi restaurant that can serve 500 people. We have a reservation. We'll tell you when you get there, what time. Does that make sense, you guys? We'll handle all that. Okay? Very good?
Very good.
All right. Now that we got that, now that we got someone that's going to negotiate, arrange, and make sure money is our family's hand in 2 days, let me show you something called Will Prep. Before I do, as we look at this, look how easy it is to use Everest. When you log in, it's going to say, welcome XYZ, and all the features are right here. Look, Price Finder, Planning Tool, Will Prep, Tenzing, it's right there. So let's say you click on Will Prep, you click on the state, and all the documents you can create comes up. You click on the document you want to create, and much like TurboTax, it asks you basic questions. As you answer basic questions, the document is written right in front of your eyes, like magic. If you have any questions about it, you click on the question mark and answer the question. Here's the best part. Everest, the entire stuff, I don't care if it's a $5,000 policy or if it's a $50,000 policy. You get the exact same level of service, and our entire package is provided with or supported by a 24-hour hotline. You can call any time of the day. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. They'll help you how to upload things, how you do this, how you do that. They'll walk you through it. Here's the good news. They're, I believe, in North Dakota, where they don't only speak English, but they speak American. It matters sometimes. Very good. They speak American, right? American. All right. Here we go. So when you now that we got the will, we got the will prep, we create the basic will, the estate planning, the power of attorney, the medical directive. I got all that now. I got them all notarized. What do I do with it? I'm going to upload to Tenzing because everything that's important to me is going to be in here. In my Tenzing, not only is all my documents in there and multimedia is in there, but I've left little videos of both my daughters in there. So if anything would happen to me today, they open that up. Oh, there's Daddy. He's so sweet. Right? When you first open up Tenzing, you've got pre-configured folders like this. You can add as many as you want. Right? So for example, if I want to create one for United Healthcare under insurance, I create a folder there. I upload my link, and every folder that I create in here will have its own slot on my phone. So if I'm at the airport, I click on script, I'm working on my script, I put it back in, I miss my kids, oh, look at how cute they look like Daddy, I put them back in, all that stuff, right there on my fingertips. Because when I die, my family opens that up, they're done. Let me tell you a real personal question, personal reason why I like this. I saw my mom spending almost 3 months looking for things in my house after my dad died. If you're Asian, you have a garage, there's never been a car in there. Just don't sit there.
Come to my house, bro.
Yeah,
Come
there's never
to my
been a car
house.
in there, never.
We don't use it
So
for
my mom's
storage.
about 5'10", 98 pounds, climb on, literally, Mom, what are you doing? She's like 7, so climb on top of the boxes, trying to find things. For 3 months, she suddenly found it. Hey Mom, we need this paperwork. Hey Mom, we need this paperwork. My sister would come by, she would worse for the wear, worse for the wear. Because you know she spent all night with it. Does that make sense? Now my family, as soon as I die, they open that up. Hey, done. How about Price Finder? I call it a Yelp. I don't know. Did I put Yelp on here? Did I put Yelp?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if this is actually sanctioned. I don't know if I'm actually even allowed to put that on it, but I did. Because it really works like that. You put a zip code and a mile radius, and all the funeral homes come up. And of course, you pick 8 of them, and they throw in a grid like this. These are $30 a pop, but if you have Everest, you have unlimited supply. Many of you are familiar with this. This is an actual report from the city of Houston, Texas, where Everest is located. So you've got 8 funeral homes up on top, exact services down here, $4,200, $12,000, $9,800, $18,000. Again, these are real funeral homes. And I'm telling you right now, if you get lucky enough to walk into $9,000, you'll do business there. If you're unlucky enough to walk into $18,000, you'll pay the money there and you'll do business there. That's how it works. That's how it works.
These aren't final prices either, right? I mean, once you get them, I'm sure
These are
they'll
nowhere
try to
near
hard
the
sell
final
you.
prices.
Yeah.
These are nowhere near the final prices, right? It doesn't include a lot of things. In fact, here's what's going to happen. When you walk into a funeral home, they're going to show you a menu of items. And when you're actually not going through it, it seems like it covers everything. Does that make sense? And then this is something that businesses do all the time. It seems like it covers everything until you actually get to that point. You realize, oh my God, everything's extra, everything's extra, everything's extra. Yes, ma'am.
I just went to visit my parents in New Mexico. We went to a funeral home. My dad did a lot.
Yeah.
None of that, like, none of it was nothing. So they said we needed like $8,900.
On top of what they would initially coded? What do you mean nothing like that?
Everything that you're saying that Everest does,
Huh.
what they quoted us was like nothing. So I think they're full of it. I have the.
Oh, they're totally full of it. They're totally full of it. In fact, what a lot of people will say is they'll actually pull these report, they'll know what the prices are before they walk into those funeral homes, they'll call them, and they'll realize they'll sit there and upsell them. I'm telling you guys right now, the funeral home salespeople, more and more of them are commission only. They are driven to upsell as much as possible. Does that make sense? How they normally work is every major service has a basic cost. Anything above that, they share in. So, for example, if moving a body from point A to B is $500, I can charge $1,000, then $500 profit I'm sharing with the ownership. Does that make sense, you guys? And that's how they roll over there, okay? Very good. Any question about the concierge? Any question about will prep, Tenzing? Anything about the services at all? Good. All right, let's go right into the insurance, guys. Very, very easy. We have 2 products. Are you under 50 or are you 50 and above? That's all we have. Very, very simple. I'm going to show you how to field underwrite this. By the time you guys are done with this training today, you'll know how to ride an Everest. Are you under 50 or 50 and above? That's all we are. Now listen, we want to approve people under an immediate death benefit. That means if I get Everest today, I die tomorrow, my family will get face value. However, we're going to be very aggressive. We want to bring people in, even though others turn them down. And we do that under what we call the ROP program. What does return of premium mean, you guys? Are you Korean? Are you? Okay.
Everyone asked me that, I know.
That's my cousin Sandy Kim. So come on. Do you guys know what ROP means? Who knows what return of premium means? Return of premium?
Return.
After the.
Not from you guys though. Return of premium. You guys know what it
Return
means?
to you your monthly premium that you put in?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. 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 So that's what that means. That's what that means. If I'm sick, if I get ROP, that means Mr. Client, we're gonna approve you, but you've got some inherent risks. But here's what we're gonna do. If you're 64 years and below, it's for 3 years. 65 and 85 is for 2 years. If you die within that time and you're approved under ROP, if it's a me, it doesn't matter. But under ROP, you only receive all the premium back plus 10% interest. So you don't lose anything. Most clients will say, thank God. Everyone else turned me down. I'm glad I got approved through you. I don't care if it's ROP. That's what most will say. And most will say, thank God I don't lose anything either because my family will get all the premium back plus 10% interest. It's a win-win situation for them. Does that make sense, you guys? Now, after 2-3 years, you meet death benefit. Don't die in the first couple of years. Very good. Make sense, you guys? Very good. Okay. Now, we raise the dollar amounts. Now we're up to $50,000 and $20,000, $25,000, and you can own more than one Everest. but you're capped out at these dollar amounts. So if you sold someone a $25,000 policy last year, you can give them a call and get another application on $25,000.
Even if it
Or
was
it's up to
35?
50.
If it's 35, you can give them 15,000.
Okay.
Does that make sense, you guys?
It's a new policy though.
It's a new policy, a whole new app. Now here's a little pro tip for you guys. Ready? If I sign someone up 2 years ago with Everest, I may not let that lapse, and I'm gonna give them another one on top, because when they got that 2 years ago, they were younger by 2 years, probably healthier by 2 years, so that 25,000 he got 2 years ago is gonna be, it's gonna be less expensive than what he gets today. Does that make sense, you guys? Because as they get older, life insurance gets more expensive, right? As they get older, right? So, but if I signed someone for Everest just last week,
Yeah.
and I didn't know when it was 50, and they're not the next age until 6 months from now, off the record, I may give them another Everest for 50,000 and let them lapse. Because they're under the same pricing tier, it's the same price for the dollar. Does that make sense, you guys? What I just did right there?
Yeah.
Because if someone had Everest a few years ago, that's at a much better rate than what they would get today.
Yeah.
But if they're the same age, I mean, think about that. Okay, because having two may not be, it's a little redundant for them. Very good, okay. Let's talk about the application. You'll know what application, meaning you're gonna field underwrite. After about 20, 30 minutes of spending time doing the application, you'll walk away knowing whether you have an Everest or not. No doctor visit, no blood work. May need a phone interview. We'll talk about what that looks like and when it's needed. And 2 to 3 day turnaround in terms of how quickly we turn turn things around. In fact, people have done Everest here. We pay pretty quickly, and we'll talk about what that looks like as well. Okay, so here it is. Our application is 1 page long. There's 2 sections to it. There's the informational section, and there are the underwriting questions. That's it, okay? Let's go over this really quickly. You got proposed insured, self-identifying information, owner, beneficiary, all straightforward. Up on top, you got the applicable phone call. When do I make that call? If I'm under 50 and it's return of premium, if I'm over 50 and it's immediate death benefit, I make that call. It's the opposite. You guys get that? So if I'm under 50 and it's return of premium, meaning, hey, Mr. Client, you're young, you're under 50, but you've got some issues, I've got to make this call. Or, Mr. Client, you're older than 50, but you're in perfect health, I got to make this call. It's the opposite. But when you make that call, they're simply going to ask you these exact same underwriting questions you just got done asking them in the exact same order. That's all that's going to be. It should take you no more than 10, 15 minutes. If there's a translator involved, it may take you maybe 5, 10 minutes more. That's all it is. Okay, guys? So again, that's case by case in those cases. Now, after I get done answering these questions, I want to know if it's immediate death benefit or ROP. In fact, let's do that now, okay? So of these 10 questions, if I can say no to the knockout questions, all the questions will be listed here. There's a line here. Anything above it is what we call the knockout questions. If I can say no to these 3, I've got myself an Everest. So, no, I'm not hospitalized. I'm not in a nursing facility. No, I don't have cancer today. I had it last week, but not today. Right? That's right. CHF, Alzheimer's, dementia, Lou Gehrig's, ALS. I don't have any of those. No, my kidney is fine. HIV/AIDS, I don't got that. Congratulations, you got an Everest package. You're done.
Wow.
Okay, the bottom 7. Whoa, I didn't mean done, TV. The bottom 7 here determines whether it's immediate death benefit, ROP. So look at this. No, 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 congratulations. All no, immediate death benefit. 1 yes, all yes, ROP, I'm done. I'm done, right? So now that I know how they're going to get paid, you've got to prove, and whether it's immediate death benefit, ROP, I go back to the application and I mark it so. You see that? Now listen, if it is immediate, always check this. Because what this says is, Mr. Underwriter, I'm submitting an immediate death benefit, but during underwriting, if it doesn't qualify for that, but it qualifies for that, I want it. If I don't have that marked, it will only give me a decline. Make sense? So get that Plan B approval. Make sure you check this whenever I check that, because if it is return premium, I want that approval. Okay? Down here, past 12 months I've used tobacco. All we care about is chewing tobacco and cigarettes. We don't care about cigars, pipe, vapes, 420. We don't care about any of that. Just chewing tobacco and smoking tobacco is all we care about. Look at this, riders. Very cool riders. Check this out. If all 5 of these people up front were my kids, they're all 17 under, I get $9,000, $9,000, $9,000, $9,000, $9,000 worth of rider, which is $45,000 in riders for $2 a month. So if I had a policy, let's say I'm the primary, right? I'm the primary holder, and I've got $20,000 in policy for $100 a month. I can add all my kids, which is now $65,000 in total coverage for $102 a month.
Wow.
If I have 100 kids, I can cover them all for $2 a month. Yeah, you got families with big, people with big families? That's how you raise face value. That's how you raise face value. So this is how it would work. if they're my kids, I'm the primary, and I got them all riders for $9,000 each. If I were to die, their riders are considered paid off. They don't have to make any more payments into it, but it's still good until they're 25. Once they turn 25, they can convert to loan Everest package. If they die before 25, the $9,000 gets paid to me. Does that make sense? So you have $9,000. So again, all the children, 1,700, get $9,000 each for $2 a month for the entire group. Okay, very good. What about grandchildren? It works. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Do they ask any questions about the children's health?
No.
Good question.
Grandchildren, but they don't have the full Everest package. They don't have the concierge, all that. Just straight
Right,
money,
just
right?
the-
Yeah. Grandchildren, great-grandchildren. For every grandchild, every great-grandchild, I can give them $10,000 each for $2 a month each. So if these were my grandkids and not my children, I get 10, 10, 10. So $50,000 for $10 a month.
They have to be under the house.
$2 each.
50. I'm sorry?
$2 each.
$2 each. $2
Versus the other one being just $2.
$2 for the
total.
entire group. Like a group, right? So you can see how for someone maybe 50 years old, has some kids, maybe we had a kid late, so he's 16 years old, has some grandkids, how you can make that base value really, really strong. Right? Very good. Okay. Down here, bank drafts, bank books. Look at this. We have cash value. Our cash value is tied to the face value. So if you take anything, if you borrow anything against the cash value, you're eating up into your death benefit. Does that make sense? So if you had a $10,000 policy, you borrow 5 and you die, your family only gets 5. So when should you use the cash value? Yes, you should, but only when it's case by case. Mark yes to this, and here's why. If you mark yes to that, the loan will automatically know that whenever there's cash value and you miss a payment, use that cash value and make sure the policy stays solid. Especially as I get older, when I'm 75, 85, 95 years old, my memory starts going, I want to make sure that's in place. Does that make sense to you guys? I don't want to spend 50 years putting all my memory, all my life into 10 things and let it lapse because I missed a couple payments. Okay? So always mark yes to this, so make sure. Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Is there a way to do this like as a trial application? Because what if they do need to do an interview, and what if it's case by case? So in that case, would there be a trial? Like let's say you don't want to give money, and you don't want to collect money on the application. Can you submit it just without submitting money?
Well, you want to submit it to see if it gets approved?
Yeah. To
Oh,
see, what if I have somebody that's like borderline?
Well, you'll know. You'll answer these, you'll know.
No, but I thought there was going to be an interview. If
There is, but the only time anything happens beyond the interview is if there's incongruencies. So here's what would happen. Let me tell you what happens.
Okay.
So, great question.
Okay.
Great question. Let's say your client just answered, this is why I'm here. Let's say the client just answered all these questions, and now you give after a call.
Right.
Hi, sir, can you please give the phone to your client?
Right.
If the client answers all these questions in a row, great first step. Now here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna pull what they call an MIB report, and they
Right.
pull an RX report. Long as everything's consistent, you're done. Now,
no,
if you're saying I'm fine, but 10 heart medicines come up and 10 diabetes medicines come up and you've got medicine for 8, yeah, brother. Now they're like, something's weird. We're gonna have to get a consent form. I need an actual MIB report. Does that make sense? As long as those things are consistent, it stops right there. It gets approved. Okay, very good. When you're under 50, there's only 9 questions. There's 6 knockout questions and 3 how do I qualify questions. Does that make sense, guys? If you're under 50, there's 9 questions, but there's 6 knockout questions. But most of those knockout questions are health related because young people don't die from health reasons. I'm sorry, they're lifestyle related. They ask you questions like, have you been on probation the last 2 years? Are you on drugs? Are you acting a fool? That's not a real question. But those are the things they ask you because young people die from being. Yeah, that's the word. That's the word. It's like we're not all like that. Very good. Very good. That's right. Because you're here, brother. That's right. We also now allow for email signatures, and this is very, very important because if you've got licenses outside of California, you don't have to get more appointments with us. So if you have a license in California and you got Virginia and Florida, you can go ahead and do deals in those states. Yeah, man, I'm telling the truth, brother. And now that you've got this, you can email this to them. You can email this, but you have to have the license there, though, Reggie, right? So you can email this. You can email this to that client, and you don't have to be in the same room with them, whether they're in Northern California or they're in Alaska. Here's where else this is coming really handy. Back in the day, you had to be in the same room with the client to sign them up in Everest. Now that you don't, where this is really coming handy, are consumer events. So I was at an African American church called Total Deliverance Center in Lancaster, California. The bishop and the first lady was up on stage. 300 people in congregation. We were there for the 8:30 and 10:30 service. After we were up there for about 10 minutes, hello everyone. After each service, they came out to the booth, myself and 4 agents. And instead of taking applications, which would take forever, and people would have walked away being discouraged or not being attended to, all they did was take a name and phone number. Next, name, phone, name, phone. They all went back to the office the next day on Monday, had a phone zone, and took about 20 applications right there on the spot. And what's cool is, You drop that pin, man. What's cool is the SMD that ran that is sharing it's his connection at the church, is sharing all the leads with his downline, so they're all running together. How cool is that? Man, I'm leaders, if you want to really get loyalty, throw them a bone. Throw them a bone, you make those guys money and you make them run on with you, I'm telling you, the loyalty will be there, right guys?
Yeah.
And this SMD knows, hey, I got more than enough to share, I'm gonna share with all you guys, so I'll do it Everest. Here's the good part, when they get an Everest, because it's relatively inexpensive, $25 a year, $45 a year, it's an amazing first step into the world of life insurance for people that don't normally buy life insurance. In fact, you know what they told me? Everest is like a gateway drug for life insurance. Because it's it's a low premium, it's guaranteed payout, and you can tell stories about all the features. So someone that doesn't necessarily want life insurance may want Everest for the unlimited memory, or for the will prep. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
Very good, okay. Take a look at this. Here's a price list. This is an older price list, it only goes to $35,000. And every time we do this, it's a great opportunity to talk about maybe some sales tactics. One of the things I would bring up is this. If I'm talking to someone, let's say I'm talking to Anthony here, and let's say he's a client of mine, it's going to be a client of mine, and if Anthony's someone that's spending $300-400 a month in saving, let's say premium, saving $500 a month, saving another $1,000 a month in 401k, for somebody like that, showing them Everest and value Everest is rather simple. All I have to do is this. Hey Anthony, how you doing? Hey, listen, I'm really excited to talk to you about a product called Everest. And here's why it's going to complete your picture. As you sit right now, about 30 to 45 days, nothing. Right? And we know your family needs that, you're the primary breadwinner. We need to make sure that bridge money before the big money is there.
Right.
But along with that, you mentioned you had no will to estate planning. We need to make sure that gets done as well. You also mentioned there isn't a filing system you're using. Without fail, Anthony, I get a call once a week from clients and family asking me if their recently deceased family member had a policy with us. My first question is, why don't you know? A lot of times because people buy life insurance, put it somewhere, it's not very well organized. I can tell that can be very, very challenging for a family when a loved one gets passed away, right? So we have a product here that actually encompasses all this. And let's see, he's 55 years old, obviously a lot younger. Sir, it's only $26 a month. Does that make sense? It becomes a no-brainer for them. In fact, what they'll do is, because I mentioned to Anthony that a typical cremation is about $5,000 to $7,000 in California, that a typical funeral is about $8,000 to $20,000, he's going to actually upsell himself and probably end up around here somewhere. So whenever I sell Everest as a standalone product, just by itself, I find their age, I show them the $5,000, I show them this, and I let him upsell himself. No illustration needed. This is like walking into a store. Here is the roll and shelf full of goodies. Come find the one you want and buy it. Be interactive, participate in the purchasing process. Does that make sense, you guys? Here's something else. When I show him his age, he's going to realize, oh gosh, if I bought this last year, it'd be a little bit more what? If I buy next year, it's going to be a little more what?
Expensive.
If his birthday's coming up in 3 months, trust me, it's creating a sense of urgency in his mind as well. And I want this, but if I don't buy it now, does that make sense, you guys? It's going to happen. So, unlike other products where you don't show prices, you just show illustrations, with us, please show the price list, find their age, show them the $5,000 amount, and let them upsell themselves. You don't know where they're going to land. You'll be surprised who picks 50. You'll be very surprised, okay? Here's another method. When I'm selling Everest as part of a total care package, I give them max out, I give $50,000. And one of the things that Reggie and I were talking about during Wealth Bowl is how are other offices winning with the total care package? Can I share that with you today? Can I go on that board and share that with you right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and this is something I've shared with Meg and Reggie at Wealth Bowl. And this is something other offices are doing today. But I can tell you right now, I'm not asking you to do exactly what I'm showing you. Please listen to your upline. Please listen to your leaders and do what they recommend. All I'm showing you is what one office is doing. And it's working for them. So if I can inspire you to think in those terms, but do what you need to do to make your business successful. Is that cool, you guys?
Yeah.
So again, Nick, I'm not saying here to follow me.
Yeah.
I'm just showing one example of it, okay? Very good. So here's what this office found. What this office found was, I would love to be able to go to a client and say, hey, Mr. Client, I want to provide you with a comprehensive solution to your financial needs. I know you probably never had met anyone like me before, so I'm here to change your life. But a lot of times when I present them with 5, 6 different product providers, and I lay out 5, 6 different applications, and I lay out 5, 6 different bank drafts, it can be scary. Especially for someone that's never heard of life insurance before, let alone what we're talking about. Does that make sense? So with this, here's what these guys are doing. They take their best products into what they call total care package, but instead of telling them Transamerica, Everest, Nationwide, all they simply did was took the best, all the advantageous features of what that package does and present this to the client. Because I know, Mr. Client, if you like this, you're going to be willing to walk through the hot coal. Let me just show you what this can do. And once you buy into it, then I'll let you walk to the hot coal. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
So here's what their total care package includes. Oh man, this is like butter.
The green,
This is like butter up here.
green or the yellow.
Oh, the green, that works better, green? Okay.
And like kind of chicken.
Oh, you know what? Why would work best?
Yeah, why
What am I
not?
doing, man? Yeah. Total care package, let's call it the Nick Lancaster Total Care Package. I don't know what you guys call it, right? Call it the Nick Lancaster Total Care Package. And in here, you've got an UL. Dude, this is so cool. Everest. These are the products in their total care package. The reason why they did this is for this reason. Mr. Client, if you thought the UL with long-term care and the term insurance was going to be there for your children in terms of generational wealth, I've got some bad news for you, because most likely this term is going to expire before you die, number one. And secondly, 70 to 80% of us will use the long-term care before we die. I would love to tell you that we all die in our sleep. I would love to tell you that we all die at 95 years old in our sleep, surrounded by loved ones, but unfortunately most of us will be in convalescence. Most of us will be in some type of healthcare type situation. You guys with me on this? 70 to 80% of us will use this. So if you thought that's what's going to leave your family wealth, you're wrong. So what these guys are doing is leaving them with an FIA and a second to die to leave that wealth behind. Does that make sense, you guys? This second to die is something that I recently found out about, and Nick, I'm telling my wife right now, we're going to get one.
Yeah.
We're going to get one. Any two people can get this. You and I can get one, you and I can get one, you and I can get one. And I can tell you what, I can literally be dying on the bed and we can still get it as long as two people get it, but it doesn't pay out until we're both dead.
Yep.
But here's the cool part. It's a fixed payment, X amount of years, and I haven't seen a product where you take the premium times X amount of years and the amount of money it leaves, millions of dollars can be left to your kids.
Yeah.
By simply buying. So that's what they're doing. Here and here's the wealth being left behind. This is probably for security, and this is really for you, long-term care. And of course, Everest. But that's not how they sell it. That's not how they sell it. You do this, and a lot of people will get intimidated. This is just what they're doing. Mr. Client, as part of the Mr. Client, as a part of the Norco Total Care Package, it's important that we have a comprehensive approach to your finances. And as per our conversation, sir, I was taking some good notes. I believe we've got something that's going to address that. It's going to be as turnkey as possible for you. Turnkey as possible. First of all, you mentioned how growth is very important. You're a young man with a young family. We need to make sure your nest egg continues to grow. So we've got a growth portion to this total care package. And this growth is amazing, sir, because it's actually part of the S&P 500. It's cash accumulation. It's got a cap up to 15%. My goodness. But here's the good news, sir. You will never lose money. It's got a bottom, what do you call that here? Floor. It's a bottom. Well, it's like, why now, bro? It's got a floor of 0.755%. What product is that, by the way?
FFI.
That's a UL. I didn't call it UL, though. That's the Norco Total Care Package growth portion, sir. That's what that is. And I can tell you right now, I don't know if you know this, but 2018 was an amazing stock market year in the beginning of the year. But as we sit today, we're in the red for the year. If this trend continues, sir, chances are your 401k and your retirement plan is going to take a beating, and that's what we want to make sure our products have a floor to it, so you don't lose money. Okay. Secondly, sir, growth is not enough. We want to make sure the total care package is comprehensive. So we want to make sure, besides growth, we also give you security. We also give you security. So I put security here. Security. And up on top, I'm sorry, safety, guys. Safety, security, whatever, safety. And on the top part, I put cloud vault, will, estate planning, power of attorney. And then bottom here, I put, will, power of attorney, bottom here, I put. Hold on a second, guys.
You got it? You got it, Matt? So that's on that.
Okay, down here, the tax advantage. Cash out any age. Unlike your 401k, sir, and your Roth IRA, we don't penalize you. And lastly, we put growth, safety, tax advantage.
Protection.
Protection. Thank you, Maddie. Protection. Cash out, 50,000, 48 hours. Oh, concierge goes here. Concierge goes here. And then I put long-term care. So for safety, Cloud Vault will estate planning power of attorney with the concierge, which is Everest. Tax advantage, cash out any age. Protection, cash out 50,000, 48 hours, and long-term care. So this is the total care package. And how they're presenting it this. The first few interviews that I've done with the client, one of the things I'm really looking for is two things. If I'm asking the right questions, open-endedly, a couple things are gonna happen. Number one, I'm building a lot of credibility with the client. If I'm asking the right questions, open-endedly, he's talking about all the challenges that he has, and I come back with a total care package. If he's mentioning his kids want to go to college. He's mentioned the fact that he wants a nest egg. He's mentioned the fact that he's got a Macy's car that's giving him problems, and I come back with a 529, a HIVE program, a Dead American, an IUL. Am I listening to him?
No.
I'm listening to him. That's going to build credibility. Does that make sense, guys? So, and number two, I'm creating awareness for everything I'm doing. Even if he doesn't buy everything, if he's like, you know what, I'm only interested in the growth part, I'm not sure about all this. Even if he only takes this, I just now introduce him to all the different things that I did. So even if he takes this portion of my total care package, I know next time he's sitting at home with his wife having a conversation about what it may need in the future, I'm going to cross his mind.
He knows what's left.
He knows what's left.
Yeah.
He knows what's left. And when I call you back, we're going to keep putting those blocks together. Does that make sense? And lastly, it's your fiduciary duty. There's more than three providers on your platform. Stop acting like it. Everest is on there most importantly. Right? But listen, you have some amazing product providers. You have some platinum product providers on there. And to simply look for a guy you can sell an IUL to as you walk by all the other people you can help is not only doing your business injustice, but the people you walk by, you're doing them injustice. How about that? How about that? The guy you didn't stop, the guy you didn't talk to, the guy you didn't think qualified for IUL, the person you didn't think would be a good IUL candidate, you walk by, you left them hanging. How about that? Does that make sense, you guys? Mm-hmm. Very good. Lastly, here's what I would do with this. If you're talking to somebody that, again, if you're talking to someone that you've had a lot of conversations with, you build a lot of credibility, this is going to look very different depending on who you talk to, depending on the age, what they want. The key point is this. Regardless of what you put into the bucket, it's important that you don't scare them off by giving them a very clear idea what the advantages are, because once they buy into it, they're going to be willing to accept all those applications and spend some time doing all those things. Yeah. They're not going to do any of that unless they know what they're getting. Here's the next thing, by the way, guys. What did I say? Oh, I forgot what I was saying. We'll come back to it. Does that help?
Yeah.
That help a little bit. I just want you to think about your business that way. Think about your business in a broader term, in a bigger term, right? In a bigger, broader term. And it all starts with a conversation. I've been in sales a long time. All my sales coaches have said, Dave, you got 2 years in one mouth. You can tell I talk a lot. My wife kids me. I talk a lot, I talk fast, and all my coaches throughout my life have been, David, you can just shut up for a little bit. Your clients will tell you what to do, man, just shut up. And he was so right. Instead of just trying to tell everything that I know, instead of sitting here saying, that's all young people, salespeople do. I just learned everything about IUL. I can't wait to just regurgitate that on somebody. Instead of doing that, take a step back and let the man talk. Let the man talk so it seems like what you got to say is a response to what he has to say. Does that make sense? And if he's talking, let him talk. I'm telling you guys right now, if you find someone sitting there listening to you as you talk about your business, pinch yourself, because that person's sitting there listening to you, not because they want to waste your time, because at some level, that person believes you can help them. I will not spend a second with anyone who I don't think that will help me. Does that make sense? If I'm sitting here talking to you about a problem, man, on the back of my mind, somewhere, I think you can help me. Does that make sense? So if anyone's sitting there talking to you, pinch yourself. You're probably at the very, very early stages of maybe a recruit, a potential customer. Don't ever take that for granted. Right, guys? Don't ever take that for granted. Very good. That's our URL. That's where everything Everest is. I'm going to show you where all the stuff is. You guys ready? I'm going to go through this really quick, okay? That's the URL, the price list, the application. Everything you need to get to do Everest and do it well is all located here, So I'm going to run through this very quickly where all the resources are, guys. Here we go. You guys ready? Okay. So this is the home site. You can find the will video here. You can find the instructional videos here. Feel free to have this up when you have the client in front of you. Play this video, play these videos. It'll go a long way in trying to articulate what it is. You're going to spend most of the time down here, though. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. The 4 easy steps. Let's go over these one at a time. Step number 1. how to get appointed. If you have your life license, which you're about to get, and you get your AML, which you have, you can get, what you do, right? What you do, AML, that's what you have that. You can get an appointment with Everest today. In fact, once you get done filling out the form, in 2 days you'll receive a welcome letter or email from us. You're ready to rock and roll, okay? So if you click on this here, a little window will pop up, okay? 224 is a universal password. That is the link to the appointment. You click on that blue link, you keep that in mind, it'll take you to this page. 341 is a universal ID, it'll stay in there. Keep that in there. 224 is the password, you log in, and it looks like this. I American is where you want to click, put in your WFG code, new contract, you fill out a few questions, no test to take, nothing to study. 2 days you receive an email, welcome on board as an appointed agent for Everest. Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't it ask you when you click that, the date of your AML?
It does ask you date of email. It does ask you email. And
You
that's
can't go
why,
any further until you.
well, Matt and I are going to work on the situation in the morning now. Okay, good. Okay, good. Step number 2, that's how you get appointed. Was that pretty simple, you guys?
Yeah.
Once you get appointed, if that's your first time, give me a call. I'd love to spend like 10, 15 minutes on the phone with you, get you started on the right path. Okay, guys? So get appointed, call me, let's have a conversation, and let's talk shop. Step number 2, everything about the marketing material is here, guys. Listen, this is a very important office to me. If you guys need anything, simply go in here, find the marketing material you need, and email brochures with an S, brochures@everestfuneral.com, and they'll send you whatever you need for free. Man, this is Team Conference, Nick's office. It's important. This is one of my most important offices, you guys. So whatever you guys need, ask, they'll send it, okay? Ask and you shall receive. I think God said that once. I think he said that once. Okay. Here. You click on here, all the marketing material comes up. First 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are ready, printed, ready to move here. They're ready to rock and roll. White pens, if you got consumer events, you can ask for like tabletop little displays. We'll send you whatever you need because you are exclusive sales force in the US. There's even things like this, translated flyers. Look at that. With all these different languages, Punjabi, Chinese, Korean, Farsi, Bengali, Vietnamese. So if you click on these things, I can tell you, I read this one, all the language is correct. The content is correct. We're talking about, yeah, the language is correct, but the pictures are not. Models are not. The models are not correct. I do not claim them. I do not claim them. They're my peeps. Maybe. Maybe North Korea. Very good. We all look like Houston, bro. Okay, here you go. So that's what this is where all the marketing material is. If you click on 3, this is where all the insurance is. The application, the paper app. I'll show you how to do mobile. The paper application, the price list, the agent guide, everything you need to work in terms of the insurance is all in here. You click on this, all these things show up, including, hey, non-US citizens. Non-US citizens, right? Look at this. If I don't have a social security number and I have an I-10, if I have an I-10 today, and I go get a bank account today, I find a doctor on Yelp today, I can get an Everest tomorrow. Okay? As long as I have an I-10. I-10. Okay? As long as I have an I-10, if I can go get a job, if I go get a doctor today and a US-based bank today, I can get an Everest tomorrow. Okay, guys? Very good. But we have things like this. Remember these? Remember the workflow. If I say yes to any 3 questions at the front, I'm done. Not eligible. You're done. Go home. If I say no, I keep going down. How about the last 7 questions? No. Keep going down. Immediate death benefit rate sheet. I make that call. If I say yes to any of those bottom 7 questions, here are the RLP stages. I use the RLP rate sheet. I don't make that call. It walks you through the process step by step. You don't have to guess. The workflow is also under step 3. Okay. I want to show you all, look at down here. Price sheets are right here. Look all the way down. The applications are down here. So you pick the state that you want, California. All the documents show up that you need. But here's the problem. Look at this. You see how it says required and use as needed? If I do this on paper, I got not only print out all the required documents, but based on how they answer these, I may need these as well. I gotta be mindful of all that stuff. But if I do this online, depending on how I answer the first few documents, if I need these, it'll trigger it automatically. It'll be there for me. Does that make sense? So always use the online. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I'm doing the online, I leave something blank, it won't let me move forward. If there's another document that I need, it'll send that up to me. Here, I gotta keep track of all that on my own. Okay, so please, whenever you can, use the online application. There's one document that you're gonna have to print, even if you go online. That's 9555. That's not part of the mobile e-app. 955 basically says you're about to enter the home of someone 65 years and older to talk business. So we talked about this last time. If you can sit on the roof, you're fine.
Even if they're family?
Even if they're family. Because you're at that point, you're not a family member. Okay? Does that make sense? As soon as you talk big, you're not a family member anymore, right? Okay? So 9 to 5 basis, I'm gonna walk into the home of 65, roof, front yard, backyard, in the car, in the pool, you're fine. Just don't go in the house.
Well, it's only their home though, right?
Just their home.
Yeah, it could be.
You can
it
buy
could be
this.
the office.
You can have all of them come to your house.
Okay, alright. Thank you, Mark.
That's right. Office, Starbucks, you're fine. That's right. Bus stop, you're fine. Good. Hey, I've heard of applications being taken at bus stops, Joe. Okay. Here we go. If I have my paper application, where do I submit it? Anytime you want to send something to the underwriters, whether it's a submission or whether it's, hey, I got to send you a trailing doc, or maybe I can send you a letter of explanation from a doctor. Anytime you want to communicate with the underwriters, it's step 4. You click on Learn More. It provides you with a fax number and an upload link that goes directly to the underwriters. So if I've got a paper application, I can either upload it, this will be here, or I can fax it. Does that make sense, you guys? Again, I want you to use a mobile e-app. It's a lot easier. Go there right away. But if I have to use paper, those are the 2 ways of doing that. So far, so good? Okay, very good. Mobile e-app. I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to show you that right now. Okay? So when you're on the agent's website, you click on the mobile e-app link. When you click on the mobile e-app link, it's going to take you, when you click on this, it's going to open up this box. Here's the thing, Jenny. This link here will take you to the mobile e-app homepage. So once you click on the mobile e-app, this window will pop up. Go and click on this. It's going to take you here. This is what you want to save onto your browser. Okay? This is how you get into the mobile e-app. Okay? So this is what you want to save on your browser, have it on your browser, on your phone, whatnot. The first time you go in, this is going to be your WFG code with the 5 in front, which is the appointment. 5 plus your WFG code is the appointment. The last 4 digits of your social security number is the password. The first time. After that, the first time you go in, it's going to ask you to create a new password right away. And that's the password you're going to use to keep going back in after that. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay? For the first time, it's your brand new created WFG appointment or your Everest appointment, and your last 4 digits of social security number. And when you go in, it's going to say, hey, create a new password, and that's what you're going to use to go in every time after that. And that's it. Once you're in there, the application is super, super easy. You submit it, they'll get it right away. 2 days is underway. Okay? Speaking of, let's talk about that real quick before we go into this. So how's the commission work? How does everything work? Let me put this up there really quickly. So if I submit an Everest on a Monday, by Wednesday it'll go into force, most likely. So I submit on a Monday, it'll go in force on Wednesday. Friday's the first pay period. 80% of that money will be in your paycheck the following Tuesday. Quick, right? So here's how it's calculated. Take your premium times 12. You times that by 1.088 because we're platinum, which is basically 108.8%. Right? Now stop right there. This gross points, these gross points go up 6 generations. So even an associate trainee in this office, if you do an Everest package, Angelica will feel it. Right? She will feel it. She will feel it. Get on and be like, what's that? Oh, it's Everest.
That was Jenny's Everest.
That's it. Get on and be like, what's this? Oh, it's Jenny's Everest. Let me put it back in there. Okay. Okay. Now you take that number and you multiply that by a contract. Oh, this is being recorded, ain't it? You multiply that by a contract, and that's your commission, right? 80% of that will be in that paycheck right away, and 20% gets paid out in the last 3 months of that earned year. So if I get paid on this on a Wednesday, that's my January 1st. So let's say this Wednesday was January 1st. The last 20% will get paid out next year, October, November, December. Does that make sense, you guys? But because we kick it up almost 109%, many agents, when they get the 80, they'll be like, whoa, I just got my full pot. No, you didn't. You got 20% coming. And a lot of times they'll forget about that. They're like, oh, it's a little gift. No, it's Everest Love. It's Everest Love is what that is.
Yep.
Okay?
I got some of those already.
You got some of those already. Does that make sense, you guys, how our commissions work? Very good. Okay. Other resources? If you click on right here, key contacts, helpful hints, you have things like this. All the phone numbers. iAmerican, WFG Host, Everest, all the phone numbers are there. You keep going down. Riders. You have optional riders, the children and the grandchild rider we talked about. How about this? Free riders. If you've got 2 years to live or less, we pay out. If you're in convalescent, you're in a hospice, we pay out 5% every month. That comes with it automatically. That comes with it automatically. Okay, very good. I'm gonna bypass this. You guys, Everest is pretty cool in this sense. I mean, it's cool for a lot of reasons, but here's another really good reason why it's cool. Because it's such a specific product, it doesn't take very long for me to get to a conversation point with anyone. Meaning, if I wanted to sell an IUL to, let's say, Kim or Sandy and Anthony, I would literally have to spend 20, 30 minutes with each one of them to find out what their buttons are and why they may need an IUL for me to sell it to them. Does that make sense? It's going to take a little conversing. Not an IUL, not an Everest. We know exactly what it's for. We know everyone's gonna need it. We know exactly what it does. And you'll be surprised how well these questions work. Next time you're at a bar, next time you're having dinner and you don't know the guy next to you, ask this question. Just try it. If they don't run out of the room, I guarantee you, mentally, they will be where they need to be for you to have that conversation. Hey, Anthony, great game, isn't it? Real quick question. I'm couldn't mind. Have you ever planned a funeral before, bro? Never have. You're lucky. I had to plan one. Any idea what that would cost?
Like 10,000?
Like, who'd you even call? Like, who'd you even call if someone died, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I didn't know until now. There's actually an amazing company called Everest. I just want to give you 5 minutes to talk to you about it. Does that make sense, you guys? Even for watching the Dodgers, by asking these 3 questions, I simply, didn't it work? I got you in a place, you're thinking about your family, didn't that happen?
Yeah.
It's weird how that works, you guys. I didn't believe it either, but it works. Simply ask these 3 questions. Try it with your friend next time as you're having dinner. Again, if they don't run out of the room, they'll be ready to have that conversation. Focus on Everest Concierge Service, talk about the features, talk about all that. Make sure we let them know that we specialize in all sorts of cultures. We've done Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, military. We've done over 20,000 funerals in the 5 years we've been in the U.S. 20,000 funerals. Share how Everest works. You know the famous story about the WFG agent that died in Hawaii? You know, we go to Hawaii every year, you know about that story, right? So, so WFG agent came out on a Wednesday day early to Hawaii when he won the contest, and he died out there trying to learn how to surf and scuba dive. They had Everest, the wife called Everest, but they planned a viewing on the beach. All the family and friends came and paid their respect. We did over 5,000 with people for free, shipped the body from USA Canada to USA Hawaii to Canada, and did a funeral there. The entire price tag was $24,000. We did it for under 12 grand. We ship bodies internationally. We'll do whatever it takes to make your families happy. Let me share one more story with you. I think I might have told this one here, but it's a recent story. You guys know where Rose Hill is on 605?
Yes.
Is that Pico Rivera?
Yeah.
Pico Rivera.
Yeah.
There was an ice cream truck guy in the area that was very famous. You know what I'm talking about? He was in there for like 30, 40 years. He sold ice cream and a mango and a stick con chile. Yes, he was one of those guys. He was in the area for like 40 years, so you can imagine, because a 10-year-old kid, he's now 50, right guys? If the kid was 2, now he's 42, right? So when he died, the word got out. Originally, about 50 members of family came, paid the respect, but it swelled to 200. And everyone's sharing stories about how he would give free ice cream or break up fights or take kids to home when they were getting lost or pick up kids from the street when they fell off the bike. All this was being shared. About 20, 30 minutes later, they started walking back to their car, and from a distance they hear ding, 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 ding. And they hired an ice cream truck guy to come and give ice cream and mango and stick to everyone that was there. In fact, the guy that came was actually a friend of the guy that died, and we actually worked that out with him. Again, not a big deal. It was a traditional funeral, 50 people, and we just hired that guy for like $250 to come and give ice cream. That's all we did. But can I tell you, that night, that day, it meant everything for that family, right? Everything. It was actually rather inexpensive. That's everything, guys. Okay, share those stories with them.
Even North Korea, right?
Even? Well, no. I don't know if they got a mango on a stick. There's something else on a stick.
Matcha.
I think he died on it.
He wanted a cake.
I got one more slide, so there you go. Did you just turn off on me?
The TV.
I literally have 2 slides.
Just have the cap.
Everest had a jingle. I can't like nationwide Everest.
Everest is on your side. This is really good queso.
Oh yeah. Okay, it's awesome. Matt, you broke it.
TV's
Everest needs a little
Jingle.
You didn't need a jingle.
Nice little jingle.
Yeah.
Put that up there.
Who's the guy that played the guitar at Wolf Bowl this year? That guy was so
Maybe
good.
roll over.
Oh, the second guy?
Maybe I should get that guy to play like Spanish guitar.
Oh, like the classical guitar.
Yeah, brother. He got me one.
So you said
Oh,
something
you're
about
not.
them, David.
Yes, ma'am.
You said this, since they've come to this country, where were they before?
One more time.
You made a comment, you said that they done some statistic, since they came to the US. Well, where were they before the US?
Oh, are you talking about Everest?
Everest.
We started in Canada.
Okay.
And what happened was, in fact, in Canada, we see WFG as well. We started WFG in Canada first. Remember, the Transamerica is no longer business in Canada. They go by Voya. Is it Ivari? Is it Ivari?
Ivari.
Ivari. And that's who our partner is actually in Canada. Our VP, Mitch, was the VP of Transamerica when they had Transamerica there.
Yeah.
And when our ownership created Everest, he reached out to him because he knew he had a relation with WFG and started in Canada because of that. And then the next person we ran into down here was Swan. on the WSB side, and Swan brought us on. That's like half the WFG. So they were smart. They were smart. Instead of going blue side into every individual WEVC, they said, let's just go to Swan and get the top-down kind of, sanctioning from the green side. And so half the WFG embraced us right away because of that, right? And so we've been working on the blue side since, and it's been great. But that's how it got started. That's how it got started.
Yeah.
That's why the beautiful white mountains there.
Yeah.
You know what's really weird about this? I don't know why this is not showing on this side the same way.
You probably gotta swap the screens.
Which would be funny. Let's just do this.
One aim of the job is power, troubleshooting.
I don't know why.
Even with
This is- Oh, okay, let's do this. Just show this. Okay, this is why. I'll try this. Boom. Okay, got it. Okay. Ta-da. You guys, I probably lost so much sweat from these technical issues I had. Everywhere to go. Okay, good. Okay, guys, real quickly. Leverage me in terms of these ways. I thought I had enough. In terms of training, home VPMs, webinars. I'm available. Consumer events. I'm like, consumer events. In fact, I do a lot of consumer events right now. So whenever I have time, I'd love to go out with you guys again. But here's the thing. I want to make sure I empower you to be able to scale it. So if you have an opportunity that you want to keep doing, I'd love to work with you guys, train you guys, give you all the material you need, and go out there, maybe go out with you guys as well for those.
What do you mean a consumer event?
So churches, Baldwin Park Lions
Like
Club,
a dental
trade
office?
show, dental office,
They
yeah.
oral-
In fact, you know how,
oral-
you know how people sell
Yeah.
Aflac? You know how they
Yeah.
introduce the Aflac products during lunch hours, not through payroll, but to be able to purchase it outside of payroll? There are several teams out there doing that with the WFG platform, and Everest is very prominent. Love to work with you guys there as well.
What about Spanish? Is there anybody that would be able to promote us in Spanish?
You know what? I would train you, and yo hablo español poquito. Yeah. So I would go out with you, and then we would probably do a little bit of translating, but I can go out with you. Yeah. And you know what? Even if I don't speak perfect English, even though I don't speak perfect Spanish, the fact that I'll go out and I'll try. Hola, me llamo David.
Dude, that's
I'll do that, and they're like, ay, chino, they like it. And after that, I go broken English, and they're cool with it. That's ready for Korean training as well, actually.
I was gonna say.
I think you're gonna pull your guns, like, anybody?
Ahora says, man, want to stick con chile? They love me right there.
Oh, shit.
Con chile?
they're gonna train.
Okay, good. So you guys, trainings, home BPM, content, webinars, all this. Let's do it.
Right, nice.
Even if that's not successful, who cares? Let's try it. We fail, who cares? Right? I mean, who cares? I want to try different things. If you keep trying, you'll find that perfect sweet spot. You find that sweet spot, and that's where you're gonna be able to build your business. And I'm one of the providers who's willing to go on that little adventure with you guys. Okay? As long as it's not too expensive, as long as it's not too crazy, as long as it's legal, I'm your guy. All right?
Yeah.
Here's your agent website, you guys. This is the most important phone number here. This phone number is to iAmerican. If you have any questions about the underwriting, if you have any questions about contracts, any question about death benefits, which you will deal with if you do enough Everest, these are the people you call. These are the Everest advisors. This is the phone number your clients would call 24 hours a day, but that number is also available to you. If I'm sitting across a Cambodian client and I can't speak their language, I'll call this and they'll get a Cambodian translator. I'll put them on speak. Are you Cambodian? Hey. We got Thai. And you can get an extra Thai speaker. You can put on speaker. They like working with agents. Just give them a call. They'll get any translator that you want on there for you. Okay? But it's got to be an Everest package. Can I get an Italian translator? So that's how the IUO works. You can't do that, right? This has got to be the Everest. All right? Very good. My cell phone number, my email address, and Instagram as well. And you guys, did we talk about the best salespeople I've ever encountered? Did we talk about that last time? Okay, so I've been in sales my whole life. And whenever I get a sales call, telemarketing, or someone come knock on my door, I answer it. And I talk to them.